It's hard to imagine a Hollywood golden boy sleeping in Central Park. But that was the fate of Troy Donahue in 1970. The blonde, blue-eyed actor who once received 7,000 fan letters a week and sent teenage girls into fits of screams found himself homeless, living out of a backpack in New York City Central Park. Just a decade earlier, Donahue had been America's clean-cut dreamboat, the star of glossy romance films and fixture on magazine covers. So, this shocking scenario begs the question, how did he plummet from teen idol to destitution? And how did he claw his way back? The mystery of Troy Donahue's life is a tale of dizzying fame, crashing loss, and the slow, hard road to redemption. Get ready, because this is Hollywood's roller coaster at its most unsettling. Welcome to Hollywood Mysteries. Music, Marielle Johnson Jr., the future Troy Donahue, was born in New York City. On January 27, 1936, show business was in his blood. His father, Marielle Sr., headed the motion picture division at General Motors, and his Swedish mother, Didi, was a stage actress. Young Marielle grew up comfortably on Manhattan's Upper East Side, but his childhood was not without trauma. At 6, he contracted pneumonia, and the family moved for a time to a 5-acre farm in Long Island, where his sister was born. At age 14, he watched his beloved father wither away and die from what would later become known as Lukas's disease, or ALS. The loss devastated him. In later years, Donahue admitted he never truly recovered from his father's death, which left him feeling lonely, a lost soul, and it fostered an early dependence on alcohol. "I think I was mad at my father for dying," he reflected, recalling how, as a teen, he would retreat into solitude and secret drinking bouts to cope. This private insecurity would haunt him even at the height of fame. Despite these inner wounds, Marielle Jr. was an outgoing youth in many ways. An athlete, a charmer, a kid with Hollywood dreams. He attended prep school and briefly studied journalism at Columbia University before his mother packed him off to New York Military Academy, where he befriended another young man named Francis Ford Coppola. "I think I threw some stones in his tuba," said Troy, "but everybody throws stones into tubas in high school." This unusual hobby might have captivated him briefly, but acting quickly became his true passion. He performed in Summer's stock theater and hung around New York casting calls, hoping for a break. In the mid-1950s, barely 20, he took a gamble. He drove cross-country to Hollywood in search of stardom. With his surfer boy looks, tan skin, blonde hair, and startlingly blue eyes, he certainly looked the part of a 1950s matinee idol. The young actor struggled at first, running low on cash and picking up odd jobs. Then fate intervened one night. In Los Angeles, one evening in 1956, Marielle was nursing a beer alone at a San Fernando Valley dive called the Golden Pheasant when two Hollywood power players walked in. Producer William Asher and director James Sheldon. Marielle's all-American looks immediately caught their eye. They struck up a conversation and soon offered the 20-year-old a screen test at Columbia Studios. The opportunity he'd been waiting for. Ecstatic, Marielle accepted. It seemed his Hollywood dream was about to come true. But on the eve of his big break, a shocking disaster nearly struck him down for good. Before I get further into Troy's remarkable rise to stardom, I'd like to remind you that I have a range of Hollywood Mysteries merch available in the Hollywood Mystery Store. All the shirts are designed in-house and are completely exclusive to Hollywood Mysteries. You won't see these anywhere else, so if you're wearing one, it'll be something a little special. I have designs featuring a whole range of stars, including Marina Dietrich, Rayoni Navarro, Lupe Vez, and Anna May Wang. You can find a link to the store down in the description, and also it should be appearing on screen now. Every sale is a huge help to the channel, and I love seeing the messages you send with the purchases over on the site. Thank you so much to all of you who have purchased one. Feel free to check it out and grab some unique Hollywood merch. And finally, don't forget to check out the new weekly Hollywood Histories podcast series over on Patreon and in the YouTube members area. Available to everyone on the $3 a month tier. I have an upcoming episode on the 1930s screenwriter who was reportedly reincarnated as a toddler, and a double episode on the amazing development of silent-era movie cameras. There's also episodes about King Kong, Butterfly, McQueen, and a whole range of new topics on the horizon. If any of that sounds appealing, why not sign up for the 7-day free trial on Patreon? Check out the back catalog and see if you enjoy the new extra episodes. Thank you so much to all the Patreon supporters and YouTube members. It makes all the difference. Now, it's time to get back to our leading man, Troy Donahue. Driving along the dark curves of Malibu Canyon after a night of drinking, the young actor lost control of his car. The vehicle skidded off the road, smashed through a guardrail, and plunged 40 feet down into a ravine, slamming into a tree that miraculously halted a deadly free fall of another 200+ feet. Merle was pulled from the wreck with his face a bloody pulp. They say my face was just two blue eyes staring out of a bucket of red paint. He later recalled of the near-fatal crash. He slipped in and out of consciousness for 2 days with a concussion, cracked ribs, a crushed kidney, a broken kneecap, and dozens of stitches across his face and scalp. He missed the Columbia screen test while lying in a hospital bed, devastated that his once-in-a-lifetime chance might be gone. He healed slowly, scars and all, and refused to give up. Yet, Merle Johnson was nothing if not lucky. By summer 1956, not long after recovering, he caught another break. A friend introduced him to a young actress named Fran Bennett, who in turn referred him to her agent, the notorious Henry Wilson. Wilson was a star maker with a flair for rebranding fresh-fit talent. His client list included Rock Hudson and Tab Hunter. The savvy agent took one look at Merle's chiseled features and knew he had a potential star. But first, he needed a more marketable name. Wilson told his new client that the name Merle Johnson simply wouldn't do. "You're Troy," the agent declared. Wilson said he plucked the first name Troy out of thin air. He reportedly liked its heroic all-American sound and paired it with a random Irish surname. Troy, on the other hand, remembered another story. He said at first they had Paris, the lover of Helen of Troy, in mind. "But I guess they thought they couldn't name me Paris Donahue because there was already a Paris, France and Paris, Illinois, so they plunked for Helen's hometown instead. The transformation was official. It was part of me 10 minutes after I got the name." Donahue later said, "Even my mother and sister call me Troy now." With a new identity in Wilson's industry clout, Troy Donahue quickly landed a contract at Universal Studios in late 1956. He was just 21, hungry and determined, if still a bit raw as an actor. Over the next year or two, young Troy paid his dues in Hollywood with a string of small film roles. He was often cast as a wholesome boy next door, or uniformed youth, the very image of mid-50s innocence. He made his film debut with a blink and you miss it bit part in Man for Frayed in 1957 and had another uncredited role in the biopic Man of a Thousand Faces that same year. He popped up in teen drive-in fare like Live Fast, Die Young and even a monster movie Monster on the Campus where he played a frightened college kid. He also appeared in the Blake Edwards romantic comedy This Happy Feeling, although he was notably absent from the promotional tour. The reason being that he was serving 15 days in jail due to an accumulation of unpaid parking tickets. These were humble beginnings, but Donahue did enough to get noticed. In Douglas Sirk's 1959 melodrama Imitation of Life, a high-profile film, he had a brief yet memorable and deeply shocking scene as a boyfriend who beats his girlfriend upon learning her mother, and therefore she is black. Imitation of Life was a hit, and Troy's small turn earned him good reviews for convincingly playing against his nice guy type. Hollywood was beginning to take note of the clean-cut kid with the camera-friendly face and a little bite in his performance. Behind the scenes, things were beginning to fray. However, he had begun dating pretty actress Judy Meredith in 1957, a romance the studio leaped on for publicity purposes. However, when she broke off the relationship with him due to his possessive behavior, Meredith alleged that Troy pushed her face into a Glasgow picture. This was the first sign of a pattern of abusive and drunken behavior that would repeat through his prime years. Not long after his split from Meredith, he began dating a woman named Nan Morris. That relationship was also abusive, and Morris ended it after Donahue threw her into a pool during an argument. Troy's true rocket ride to stardom began in 1959. Warner Brothers, spotting his major potential, signed the 23-year-old to a multi-year studio contract and cast him in a Technicolor romance, destined to change his life. Delmar Daves' The Summer Place paired Donahue with the era's top teen actress, Sandra Dee, in a swooning story of young love on the beaches of Maine. As the earnest Johnny Hunter, Troy embodied every girl's ideal sweetheart. tall, tender, and reliably shirtless amid the sea spray. When A Summer Place hit theaters, it became a cultural phenomenon. The film was a box office smash, the #1 movie in America for weeks, fueled in part by its lush theme song, Max Steiner's theme from A Summer Place, which blanketed radio airwaves. More importantly, for